We begin today in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus, we thank you for today. As we begin our class, we humbly ask for your divine wisdom to fill our minds and guide our thoughts. Help us to stay focused on the knowledge and understanding we are about to receive. Holy Spirit, be our source of inspiration as we engage in learning. Illuminate our hearts and minds so that we may comprehend the wonders of the world around us. Let your light be our guide in this journey of discovery. Lord, we surrender our lives to you, trusting that your will is perfect for us. May we walk in alignment with your plans and purposes. Empower us to shine your light to those around us through our actions and our words. We ask this all through your Son, Jesus, who lived and died so that we may have eternal life with you. Amen.
Hi guys, good morning. I am Ana Marie Ibalia and I'm going to discuss what is IP or intellectual property management. What is IP or intellectual property management? Intellectual property management is the strategic and systematic handling of intellectual property assets within an organization. Intellectual property includes creation of the mind, such as invention, works, designs, symbols, names, and image used in commerce. Effective IP management aims to protect these assets, maximize their value, and ensure they contribute to an organization's competitiveness and innovation. The main types of intellectual property includes patents, copyright, trademarks, and trade secrets.
Good day everyone, I am Kimberly A. Achico and I'm going to discuss the four intellectual property.
So, what are the four types of intellectual property? First is patents. Patents are legal protection granted by governments to inventors. They give the inventor exclusive rights to their creation for a certain period, usually 20 years from the filing date of the patent application. This is These exclusive rights allow the inventors to control how their inventions are used, preventing others from making, using, selling, or importing the patented technology without permission. To get a patent, inventors should submit a detailed application to a government patent office. This application explains the invention in detail, including its technical aspects, unique features, and how it works. The application needs to show that the invention is new, useful, and significantly different from existing technology. So, there are three types of patents. First is the utility patents. These are the most common type and protect the functional aspect of an invention. This could be a new machine, a new process, a new chemical composition, or even a significant improvement on an existing invention. Basically, a utility patent grant inventors exclusive rights to how their invention works. Next is the design patent. A design patent protects how something looks like its shape, pattern, or color. It doesn't cover how it works or its practical features. So, if someone gets a design patent for a unique chair design, it means others can make or sell chairs that looks too similar, but they can still make chairs that work the same way. Next is the plant patents. These are for new varieties of plants that can't be reproduced naturally from seeds. They are typically for plants grown by grafting or cutting. Plant patents give breeders exclusive rights to their innovative plants creations, encouraging them to develop new flowers, fruits, or vegetables. Next is the copyrights. Copyrights are legal protections granted to creators of original works, granting them exclusive rights to use, reproduce, and distribute their creations. This means that only the copyright holder can decide how their works is used and who can use it. For example, an author who writes a book holds the company right to that book, giving them control over its publication, distribution, and adaptation into other forms like movies or audiobooks. Furthermore, copyright holders can choose to license their work to others, allowing them to use it under certain conditions. For example, a musician might license their song for use in a commercial, allowing the company to use it in exchange for a fee or royalty payment. This way, copyrights ensures that creators are compensated for their efforts and have control over how their creations are used. Next is trademarks. Trademarks are recognizable signs like symbols, logos, or even sounds that distinguish a company's products or services from competitors. Registering a trademark grants the owner exclusive rights to its use. The primary purpose of trademark is to protect a company's brand identity and prevent confusion among consumers. For example is Coca-Cola logo and brand name. It means only the Coca-Cola company can legally use them. This guarantees that when you see the Coca-Cola logo or brand name, you know you're getting a product from the official source. Trademark protections also extend to preventing others from using similar marks that could potentially confuse consumers or dilute the value of original brand. This means that competitors cannot use trademarks that are similar enough to cause confusion in the marketplace. Next is the trade secrets. Trade secrets are valuable assets for companies, often compromising unique process, formula, or methods that give them a competitive edge in the market. Unlike patents or trademarks, trade secrets don't require registration with government agencies, making them a more confidential form of intellectual property protections. Companies invest significant resources into developing and protecting their trade secrets because they provide a competitive advantage over competitors. For example, is the recipe for Coca-Cola is one of the most famous trade secrets globally. Despite being one of the most recognizable brands, the exact formula for Coca-Cola Signature's beverage remains undisclosed and closely protected by the company. To protect trade secrets, companies implement various measures such as restricting access to sensitive information, requiring employees to sign disclosure agreements, and implementing cybersecurity protocols to prevent unauthorized access. Maintaining the secrecy of trade secrets is essential for preserving their competitive advantage and ensuring their continued economic benefit to the company.
Who manage intellectual property in a company? In a company, intellectual property management involves coordinating among various individuals and departments to ensure adequate protection, utilization, and enforcement of intellectual property assets. Depending on the size and structure of the organization, intellectual property management may involve different roles and responsibilities. One is Chief Intellectual Property Officer, CIPO or Chief Intellectual Property Council. In larger organizations, a dedicated CIPO or Chief IP Council might oversee all aspects of IP management. They lead IP strategy, management, portfolio management, enforcement action, and coordination with legal teams. Examples: developing IP policies, coordinating patents filing, managing IP portfolios. Two is legal department. The legal department team is crucial in IP management, handling patents, trademark and copyright filings, and legal enforcement against infringement. Attorneys provide legal advice on IP matters, draft agreements, and represent the company in litigation. Examples: drafting and reviewing IP-related contracts, enforcing IP rights, handling infringement issues. Three is IP manager or IP coordinators. This role focuses on day-to-day IP administration. IP managers handle tasks such as maintaining IP records, managing deadlines for renewals and filing, and coordinating with external IP counsel. Example, conducting IP audits, facilitating IP training sessions, monitoring IP-related deadlines. 4 is R&D and innovation teams. This team generate new intellectual property through research and development efforts. They work closely with legal and IP professionals to identify patentable inventions, conduct patents, research, and draft patent applications. Examples: filing patents application for new technologies, documenting invention disclosures. 5 is marketing and branding teams. Marketing and branding teams actively collaborate with legal experts to ensure consistent and correct trademarks and branding elements usage. They also contribute to the development of solid trademarks and branding strategies. Examples: registering trademarks for products, names and logos, monitoring for trademarks infringements. 6 is business development and licensing teams. These teams identify opportunities for commercializing IP assets through partnerships, licensing, and collaborations. They negotiate licensing agreements, manage licensee relationships, and drive revenue generation. Example: negotiating licensing deals with other companies, evaluating potential IP acquisitions. 7 is HR and employee training. Human resources ensures employees understand the company's IP policies and procedures. They might conduct IP education and training sessions to raise awareness about protecting IP assets. Examples: providing IP training during employee onboarding, conducting periodic IP awareness campaigns. 8 is IT and data security teams. These teams are responsible for safeguarding digital IP assets, preventing data breaches, and ensuring the security of confidential information, especially trade secrets. Example: implementing cybersecurity measures to protect sensitive IP, managing access controls for IP databases.
The Finance Departments. The finance team may value IP assets for financial reporting purposes and manage the budget allocated for IP-related expenses. In IP management helps to ensure the effective financial planning, accounting, and decision-making, aligning IP strategy with the overall financial objectives of the organization. Budgeting and cost management. Establishing and managing the budget for IP-related activities such as patent filing, maintenance fees, licensing, and enforcement costs. A cost management plan example could be the budget for a home improvement project. Direct costs would include hire labor and building materials. Indirect costs would include equipment rental fees, insurance, and general maintenance. IP valuation and accounting, assisting in the valuation of the company's IP assets, which may include patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. Incorporating IP assets into the company financial statement and balance sheet in accordance with accounting standards and regulations. IP asset monetization, evaluating and advising on opportunities to monetize the company IP assets such as through licensing, sale, or other commercial arrangement. So basically, monetizing is to utilize or something of value as a source of profit or to convert an asset into money or a legal tender. For example, a company can monetize the nation's debt by acquiring debt treasuries which increase the supply of money. Next is operation and supply chain. In industry where design and manufacturing processes are critical, this team effectively ensures the respect of product IP rights throughout the supply chain. so it plays a crucial role in ensuring the efficient and effective management of IP-related processes and activities. IP workflow and process management. These are the designing and implementing efficient workflows and procedures for IP-related activities, such as patent filing, trademark registration, and IP enforcement. Coordinating with various departments, as example is R&D, legal marketing, to streamline the IP management process. Next is IP procurement and vendor management. The IP procurement and vendor management are often seen as two separate functions. However, they are actually closely linked. Procurement is the process of acquiring goods or services from external suppliers, while vendors management is the process of managing relationship with those suppliers. Next is IP commercialization and licensing. Patents, trademarks, and copyrights are all forms of intellectual property that can be licensed. For example, patent licenses can be used for mechanical devices and systems, healthcare products and services, electronic hardware, computer software, and chemical composition and business methods. Next is the executive and board. Senior management and the board play a role in setting the overall IP strategy and ensuring alignment with business goals. They may make decisions on IP-related investment, enforcement, actions, and collaboration. Number 1 is strategic IP oversight. The executive team or the CEO, CTO, Chief IP Officers provides high-level guidance and direction for the company's IP strategy, aligning it with the overall business objective. The Board of Directors or Board of IP Committee oversees the company's IP management practices, ensuring they are consistent with the organization's risk appetite and long-term goals. Number 2 is IP policy and governance. The executive team develops and implements IP-related policies, guidelines, and procedures to govern the company's approach to IP protection, enforcement, and commercialization. The board ensures that the IP governance framework is robust and effectively mitigates risk while supporting the organization's strategic priorities. Number 3 is IP resource allocation. The executive team determines the budget, personnel, and the other resources dedicated to IP management activities such as patent filings, trademark, registration, and IP litigation. The board reviews and approves the IP budget and resource allocation, ensuring that the company's IP investments are aligned with the overall business strategy. Next is the external intellectual property. Many companies work with the external law firms specializing in intellectual property. These firms provide expert legal advice, conduct IP searches, draft legal documents, and represent the company in legal proceedings. Third-party intellectual property rights means any intellectual property owned by a personnel other than the company and its subsidiaries. Third-party intellectual property rights means intellectual property rights in which a person other than the company or a subsidiary has any ownership interest. This includes patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, and other IP rights owned by external entities such as competitors, suppliers, customer, and other industry players. Next is licensing and collaboration. Licensing IP to third parties for a fees or partnering to bring innovation to market efficiently. Collaborative partnerships and joint ventures may also involve the shared use or exchange of IP between the participating organization. The license of a trademark, where the licensee is granted the right to use a trademark for a limited specified purpose. For example, Walt Disney is granting McDonald's a license for McDonald's to co-brand McDonald's Happy Meal with a Disney trademark character. IP monitoring and clearance. Organizations need to be aware of and monitor the external IP landscape to ensure that they are not infringing on the right of others. Next is IP clearance processes. IP clearance processes are used to evaluate the potential impact of external IP on the organization's own products, services, or business activities. Intellectual property management is a dynamic and multifaceted process that demands careful consideration and planning. Effective management can lead to increased competitiveness, revenue generation, and protection against infringement. In today's innovation-driven landscape, businesses that can prioritize and execute comprehensive IP strategies position themselves better to thrive and contribute to advancing knowledge and technology.
Good day, everyone. I am Leslie C. Cervantes, and I'm going to discuss the intellectual property representations and warranties. Let's talk about challenges of intellectual property management along with an overview of challenge and some examples. Number 1, lack of IP awareness and education. Lack of IP awareness and education refers to the challenge of employees and stakeholders not having sufficient understanding about the importance of intellectual property. This can lead to unintentional sharing of sensitive information without recognizing its value, potentially compromising the organization's IP assets. To address this challenge, organizations can conduct training programs and awareness campaigns to educate employees about the significance of IP, its protection, and the potential risk associated with its misuse. By fostering a culture of IP awareness and providing education, organizations can enhance the protection and value of their IP assets. Example: employees unintentionally sharing sensitive information without recognizing its value can lead to potential IP infringement or loss of competitive advantage. Number 2, inadequate IP policies and procedures. It refers to the challenge of not having clear guidelines and protocols in place for the creation, ownership, and protection of intellectual property. Without proper policies, there can be confusion and uncertainty regarding who owns the IP when employees collaborate on projects. This can lead to disputes, loss of IP rights, and potential legal issues. To address this challenge, organizations should develop comprehensive IP policies and procedures that outline the process for identifying, documenting, and protecting IP assets. These policies should cover areas such as ownership rights, confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements, and IP assignment. By establishing clear guidelines, organizations can ensure that IP is properly managed, protected, and utilized for the benefit of the organizations. For example, the absence of a policy dictating who owns IP when employees collaborate on a project can create ambiguity and potential conflicts over ownership rights. Number 3, resource limitations. It refers to the challenge of having limited financial and human resources to effectively manage intellectual property. Managing IP involves costs such as registration fees, enforcement actions, and ongoing maintenance. Small startups or organizations with limited budgets may struggle to afford these expenses, which can hinder their ability to protect and enforce their IP rights. To address this challenge, organizations can explore alternative funding options such as grants, partnerships, or seeking assistance from IP professionals or consultants. They can also prioritize and strategically allocate resources to focus on protecting the most valuable and critical IP assets. Additionally, organizations can leverage technology and automation tools to streamline IP management processes and optimize resource utilization. By finding creative solutions and making efficient use of available resources, organizations can overcome the limitations and effectively manage their IP assets. For example, small startups struggling to afford patent filing due to limited funding, which may hinder their ability to protect their inventions effectively. Number 4, complex IP evaluation. It refers to the challenge of determining the value of intellectual property assets for various purposes such as licensing, sale, or financial reporting. Valuing IP can be challenging due to its intangible nature and the unique characteristics of each asset. Factors such as market demand, competitive landscape, technological advancements, and legal considerations can all impact the value of IP. Additionally, rapidly changing markets and evolving technologies can further complicate the valuation process. To address this challenge, organizations can engage IP valuation experts who specialize in assessing the worth of different types of assets. These experts use various methodologies such as income-based, market-based, or cost-based approaches to determine the value of IP. By relying on expert guidance and utilizing appropriate valuation methods, organizations can make informed decisions regarding licensing agreements, IP sales, or financial reporting that accurately reflect the value of their IP assets. For example, valuing a unique software algorithm for licensing purposes in a rapidly changing market where determining its worth can be complex due to technological advancement and market fluctuations. Number 5, rapidly changing technology landscape. The challenge of the rapidly changing technology landscape refers to the need to keep intellectual property assets relevant and up to date as technologies evolve at a rapid pace. Technological advancement can quickly render existing IP obsolete or less valuable, requiring organizations to continuously adapt and update their IP strategies. This challenge applies to industries where innovation and technological advancement are prevalent, such as the tech sector. To address this challenge, organizations need to stay informed about emerging technologies and trends that may impact their IP assets. they should regularly assess their IP portfolio to identify any outdated or less relevant assets and consider whether modifications, updates, or new filings are necessary. This may involve conducting regular IP audits and working closely with IP professionals to ensure that IP assets align with the evolving technology landscape. For example, adjusting a patent portfolio as new advancements reshape the industry's technological landscape, ensuring that valuable inventions remain protected and aligned with market trends. Number 6, global IP protection. It refers to the challenge of navigating differing intellectual property laws and regulations across multiple jurisdictions when seeking to protect and enforce IP rights internationally. As organizations expand their operations globally, they need to ensure that their IP assets are adequately protected in each country where they operate or seek to do business. To address this challenge, organizations can work with IP professionals or law firms that specialize in international IP protection. These experts can provide guidance on the specific requirements and strategies for IP protection in different countries. Organizations should also conduct thorough research and due diligence to understand the IP landscape and legal frameworks in each jurisdiction where they operate. For example, filing for trademarks and patents in various countries while adhering to the specific legal frameworks and procedures of each jurisdiction to secure IP rights internationally. Number 7, IP infringement and enforcement. It refers to the challenge of detecting and addressing unauthorized use of infringement of intellectual property rights. This challenge arises when others copy, reproduce, distribute, or use IP assets without proper authorization or permission from the owner. Detecting IP infringement can be challenging as it often requires monitoring and vigilance to identify instances where unauthorized use of IP occurs. Once infringement is detected, organizations face the task of enforcing their IP rights through legal means, which can be time-consuming, complex, and costly. For example, pursuing legal action against a competitor who copied your product design without permission, requiring resources and legal expertise to enforce IP rights and seek appropriate remedies. Number 8, managing IP portfolios. Organizing and maintaining a portfolio of diverse IP assets is essential for strategic management. It involves tracking and renewing trademarks, patents, and copyrights to ensure ongoing protection. To address the challenge of managing IP portfolios effectively, organizations can leverage IP management software or tools that streamline record keeping, deadline tracking, and portfolio analysis. Engaging IP professionals or attorneys can also provide experts guidance and support in managing and optimizing IP portfolios. For example, ensuring timely renewals and maintenance of trademarks, patents, and copyrights to safeguard the value and exclusivity of the IP assets owned by an organization. Number 9, data security and cyber. Data security and cyber threats refer to the challenge of protecting intellectual property assets from cyber attacks. data breaches, and theft by malicious actors. With the increasing reliance on digital systems and technologies, organizations face the risk of unauthorized access, theft, or compromise of their valuable IP assets. Organizations must implement robust security measures to safeguard their valuable IP assets. For example, preventing hacking attempts aimed at stealing proprietary software source code, which, if compromised, can lead to significant losses and potential misuse of valuable IP. Number 10. Third-party relationships and collaborations. It refers to the challenge of ensuring that partnerships and collaborations do not compromise intellectual property rights and confidentiality. When organizations collaborate with external parties, such as contractors, suppliers, or research partners, there is a need to protect their IP assets and maintain confidentiality to prevent unauthorized use or disclosure. Organizations need to establish clear agreements and safeguards to protect their IP when working with external parties. For example, drafting solid agreements to protect IP when working with contractors or collaborators, ensuring that confidential information and IP rights are adequately safeguarded during the collaboration.
So good day everyone, I'm Erica May Acero, and today I'm going to discuss the importance of IP management. So what is the importance of intellectual property? Intellectual property management is essential for protecting the unique ideas, innovations, and creations that organizations and people generate. So just as we lock our doors to keep our stuff safe, intellectual property management protects our creative work from being stolen or copied by others. So ang intellectual property can be used into different types of businesses. So when it comes to music industry, pwede natin siya magamit. So for example is, you are a talented songwriter and marami ka na rin nagawang kanta without intellectual property management. Anyone could copy your song and use it without your permission. One of the example of this is, di ba familiar kayo sa kantang Selos by Shaira, wherein kinopy niya yung idea or rhythm ng kanta ni Lenka, na trouble is a friend. And what happened to her is na-copyright siya. And na-mute siya ngayon. That's why it's important na meron tayong intellectual property para magkaroon ka ng security when you have an idea. And of course, mahalaga na i-register mo siya nang sa ganun is magkaroon ka ng control kung sino yung makakagamit sa song mo. So this protection ensures that you receive credit and royalties whenever your song is played on the radio, streamed online, or use it in advertisement, providing you with incentives to keep creating new music. And also, example of this is yung product na dinadevelop natin per method. So, it's important na ma-register natin siya. Nang sa ganun is pwede natin ireklamo or kasuhan kung sino man ang magtatry na kopyahin o gayahin yung gawa natin product. So, in summary, intellectual property management is essential for maximizing the value of intellectual property assets, minimizing risks, fostering innovation, and ensuring that an organization's intellectual property contributes to its overall success and growth. Next is the 7 reasons why IP management matters. First is, it optimizes assets value. Intellectual property assets such as patents, trademarks, and copyrights hold significant value for individuals and organizations. However, this value is fully realized only when these assets are managed properly. Effective management involves recognizing the importance of these assets, valuing them based on their impact, and potential benefits, and fully utilizing them to achieve strategic objective. So one of the example is this, the Apple company. So we all know that the Apple is known in the market because of their quality gadgets. Apple's careful management of its intellectual property helps to optimize the value of its assets by securing patents for its innovative ideas like special features on iPhones or unique designs. Apple ensures that its ideas are protected and can't be copied by others. So this exclusivity allows Apple to charge higher price for its products because of their uniqueness. Additionally, by licensing its patented technology to other companies, Apple creates new revenue streams, increasing the overall value of its intellectual property portfolio. So by enforcing its patents through legal action against infringers, Apple maintains the integrity of its brand and preserves its market dominance, further enhancing the value of its intellectual property assets. Second is protect investment. Organizations invest enormous efforts to establishing and developing intellectual property. Effective intellectual property management protects these investments by preventing unlawful use, infringement, and theft. Businesses puts a lot of time and effort into creating an idea, invention with the help of IP management. It can protect your investment by securing patents, trademarks, and copyrights. These legal protections give them exclusive rights to their creations, preventing others from using or copying them without permissions. Additionally, they may use contracts, confidentiality agreements, or digital security measures to further safeguard their intellectual property from unauthorized use, infringement, or theft. This ensures that the company can fully benefit from its investments in innovation and creativity without worrying about others exploiting their ideas. The next reason is it drives the innovation. So when companies manage their intellectual property well, it encourages employees to be more creative. Clear rules and guidelines about intellectual property make employees feel safe to share new ideas and inventions. So they will know that their company will protect and value their contributions. This creates an environment where people feel motivated to come up with new and exciting things, driving innovation with the organization. So for example, sa isang company, we all know naman na maliit man or malaki ang responsibility natin is nakakapagod din. Minsan lalo na if toxic pa yung environment mo. Pero kung yung boss mo is mabait, mataas magbigay ng salary, and productive sa team nyo, of course, kayo din is gaganahan na mag-work. And mas mamomotivate pa kayo and makaka-create ng ideas if mismo si leader is also approachable. Next is it enhances market positioning. So by managing intellectual property effectively can help a company stand out in the marketplace. So example of this is Gucci. Gucci carefully manages these assets by using them consistently across its product and marketing materials. So for example, every Gucci handbags features the logo prominently, and their advertisement often incorporate the signature colors. So because Gucci effectively manages its intellectual property, customers immediately associate these trademarks with luxury, style, and quality. So when someone sees the double G logo or the green and red stripes, they know that they are looking at a Gucci product. So these strong brand images helps Gucci maintain a prominent position in the luxury fashion market. Customers are willing to pay a premium for Gucci items because they trust the brand's reputation for excellence. In this way, Effective intellectual property management contributes to Gucci's continued success and dominance in the fashion industry. Next is it enables strategic partnerships. So managing intellectual property well can help companies team up with others. So for example, one company might have a cool invention like a special software program and another company wants to use it. So by sharing or licensing the rights to this invention, they can work together. So this means both companies will benefit. The one with the invention gets the money from sharing it, and the other one gets to use a great technology that improves their products or services. So in short, smart management of intellectual property helps companies form partnerships that lead to more innovation and success for everyone involved. Next is mitigates risks. Managing intellectual property reduces risk by giving businesses with a clear awareness of their rights and potential legal liabilities. Companies can reduce their risks by continuously identifying and resolving any gaps or potential infringement in their intellectual property portfolio. So this may include obtaining patents, trademarks, or copyrights for their discoveries, as well as monitoring the marketplace for unauthorized usage of their intellectual property. A strong intellectual property strategy helps organizations respond quickly and effectively to legal issues and disputes, reducing the financial and reputational harm. So in essence, good management of intellectual property helps businesses secure their innovations, assets, and market position. And last is it supports businesses' growth. Businesses grow by protecting their unique ideas and creations. When a company knows their innovations are safe, they feel more confident expanding into new markets or industries. So for example, if a skincare company like Brilliant, Bello Hair Skin invents a new product like moisturizer cream, so they can protect it with patents because patents gives an exclusive right granted by a government to an inventor to manufacture, to use, or sell an invention for a certain number of years. So this gives them the confidence to sell their products worldwide without worrying about copycats. So in essence, by safeguarding their intellectual property, businesses can explore new opportunities and reach more customers, driving growth and success.
Next is the process of IP management. First is the strategy formulation. These initial steps involves developing a comprehensive strategy that aligns the company's goal with its IP policy. It's essential to consider the company's objectives, available resources, and future developments when doing this strategy. The main aim is to ensure that intellectual property assets are protected, enforced, and managed effectively. Basically, this step sets the direction for how the company will approach its intellectual property assets, ensuring they are utilized to their fullest potential while also protecting them from potential risks or infringements. So, there are four basic IP strategies that organization can build upon to suit their business objectives. First is the risk minimization. It is a strategic approach that businesses use to reduce the potential for legal issues, particularly infringement litigation. Infringement litigation refers to legal proceedings initiated due to the violation of a company's intellectual property rights such as patents, trademarks, or copyrights. The goal of risk minimization strategy is to protect the business from these potential legal issues. This can be achieved through building a broad and diverse portfolio. This involves acquiring a wide range of intellectual properties related to the business's products or services. The portfolio could include patents, trademarks, copyrights, and other forms of intellectual properties. By having a diverse portfolio, the business strengthens its legal position and reduces the risk of being sued for infringements. Next is the cross-licensing. This strategy involves two or more companies agreeing to cross-license certain intellectual properties. This essentially grants each other permission to use specific IPs without infringing on each other's rights. This offers significant benefits for all parties involved like reduce infringement risk and enhance innovation. By implementing a risk minimization strategy, a business can reduce its exposure to costly and time-consuming legal disputes. It also allows the business to focus on its core operation and growth rather than worrying about potential legal issues. However, it's important to note that while risk minimization can significantly reduce the risk of legal issues, it cannot completely eliminate it. Therefore, businesses should also have a plan in place to handle any potential legal disputes that may arise. Next is the cost minimization. It is a strategic approach that businesses use to reduce their expenses while optimizing their intellectual property assets. This strategy is particularly important for businesses that rely heavily on their IP assets, such as technology companies and creative industries. The goal of cost minimization strategy is to maximize the value derived from IP assets while keeping the cost associated with this asset as low as possible. Next is the value maximization. It is a business strategy that focuses on maximizing the value derived from a company's intellectual property assets. This strategy is often employed by businesses that have significant assets such as patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. So here's an overview of the process. The first step in this strategy is to identify all the company's IP assets. This could include anything from patented technology and copyrighted content to branded trademarks. Once the IP assets have been identified, the next step is to determine their value. This can be done through various methods such as cost, market, and income approaches. After the value of the IP assets has been determined, the company can look for ways to leverage these assets to generate revenue. This could include licensing the IP to other companies, using the IP to develop new products or services, or selling the IP assets outright. Lastly, a crucial part of the value maximization strategy is protecting the company IP assets. This can involve taking legal action to prevent unauthorized use of the intellectual property, as well as taking steps to ensure that the company's IP rights are not infringed upon. In summary, businesses that seek to benefit directly from their IP assets are most interested in the value maximization strategy because it allows them to leverage their unique IP assets to generate maximum value and competitive advantage. It is a proactive approach to IP management, focusing on strategic utilization and protection of IP assets to drive business growth and profitability. Next is the tactical approach. It is a business strategy often used in highly competitive industries. It involves making strategic decisions and implementing policies that aim to leverage a company's position relative to its competitors. One key aspect of this approach involved the directing policies towards leveraging a strategic position. This involves making strategic decisions that take into account the company's competitive landscape. The goal is to leverage the company's unique strengths and capabilities to gain a competitive advantage. Second is the shifting the focus of R&D. In a tactical approach, there may be a shift in the focus of research and development. Instead of focusing only on innovation, research and development efforts might be directed towards improving existing products or services or adapting them to better meet the needs of the market. Lastly is the reevaluating existing partnership. The tactical approach also involves reevaluating existing partnership This could mean strengthening relationship with key partners, seeking out new partnerships that could provide a competitive edge, or even partnerships that are no longer beneficial. Basically, the tactical approach is about making strategic decisions with a clear understanding of the competitive landscape. It's about being agile and adaptable and making the most of the company's resources and capabilities to navigate a competitive industry. It's a dynamic approach that requires continuous assessment of the market and the company's position within it. Remember, the primary goal of this approach is to enhance the company's competitive position and maximize its value in the marketplace. It's about strategic moves that not only respond to the actions of competitors but also anticipate future trends and changes in the industry.
Next is strategy formulation. In intellectual property management, strategy formulation refers to the process of creating a plan or framework to effectively protect, leverage, and maximize the value of intellectual property assets within an organization. So, developing a sound strategy is the foremost step in the process of efficiently managing IP. It is imperative to align the company's objective with the goal of the IP policy and take into account the resources and future developments when designing it. The aim of this strategy is to ensure that IP assets are protected, enforced, and managed effectively. Four basics of IP strategies that businesses can look towards are risk minimization. The goal of a risk minimization strategy is to keep the business away from infringement litigation. Next is cost minimization. Keeping the costs in check while optimizing the IP asset is the focus here, or should I say the core focus here. Next is value maximization. Businesses that seek to benefit directly from their IP assets are most interested in this type of strategy. Next is tactical approach. Best followed in domains with heavy competition. This approach aims to direct all policy towards leveraging a strategy position to the competitors. Negotiation in intellectual property management refers to the process of reaching agreements or settlements regarding the creation, ownership, licensing, transfer, or enforcement of intellectual property rights. This negotiation typically involve discussion and dialogue between parties seeking to establish mutually beneficial arrangements related to their IP assets. Next is the right protection. In intellectual property management, refers to the measures and strategies used to safeguard and enforce the rights associated with intellectual property assets. So, registration and documentation. Obtaining formal registration for IP rights such as patents, trademarks, and copyright to establish legal ownership and evidence of rights. So, proper documentation and record keeping are essential for protecting and enforcing IP rights. Next is monitoring and enforcement. Monitoring market activities and competitors is to detect unauthorized or infringing uses of IP assets. So, enforcing IP rights through legal action, cease and desist letters, or other mechanisms to prevent infringement and protect the value of the IP. Next is brand protection and reputation management. Protecting trademarks, brand names, and reputational assets from infringement, dilution, or misuse by third parties, building brand awareness, monitoring brand perception, and taking action against brand violation are crucial for maintaining brand integrity.
So the next topic is the three methods of valuing intellectual property. Cost-based valuation. So the cost-based methods involve calculating the costs of creating and developing an IP asset, including machinery, equipment, labor, legal protection, testing and trials, and overheads. So this approach straightforward because it focuses on tangible costs such as money spent on research, development, filing patents, and hiring lawyers. So in simple terms, if you've invested a lot of money in developing and protecting your IP, it's likely to be valued higher under this method. So for example is you have a clothing line businesses and you plan to create a new line for more eco-friendly t-shirt. So for developing a new design, it costs you 100,000. So you will spend also 20,000 pesos for trademark registration to protect your brand name and logo. So for another 10,000 pesos naman for hiring a public lawyer to help you with any legal issues related to intellectual property. So using the cost-based value method, ipag-add mo lang siya ngayon sa lahat ng nagastos mo, so from the start. And the total is 130,000 pesos, meaning yung cost-based value is the sum of all the expenses. Next method is the market-based valuation. It is also known as comparable analysis. It is a valuation method that involves comparing the financial metrics and market prices of similar assets to determine their value. So this approach is based on the principle that the price of an asset in a competitive market is the best indicator of its fair value. So this approach considers recent sales or agreement where similar IP assets were bought or licensed. So if a similar product or idea recently sold for a certain amount, you can use that as a guide to estimate the value of your own IP. So for example is you have a shoe company in the Philippines that specializes in eco-friendly sneakers made from recycled materials. So to determine the value of your shoe design using the market-based valuation method, you look at the recent deals involving similar shoe companies. So you discover that a similar eco-friendly shoe brand recently sold for 2,000 per pair in local stores, and another company licensed a similar shoe design to a retail chain for 300 per sold. So based on these comparisons, you estimate the value of your shoe designs to be around 2,000 per pair. So if you were to sell them outright, or 300 per pair if you were to license them to another company. So this gives you an idea of the market value of your intellectual property based on similar deals happening in the shoe industry.
Insurance and coverage of IP infringement. Infringement coverage, also called defense coverage, is the most common type of coverage. This policy provides insurance to owners when a patent infringement claim is filed. It protects the distributors against allegations, maintains rights, and covers damaging costs in case of liabilities. Example: if a company is accused of using a patent technology without permission, their IP infringement insurance may cover the cost of hiring lawyers to defend against the claim. Enforcement: when an insurer provides funds of IP to IP owners to protect infringement rights, and then takes money for legal expenses, such as counterclaims and losses, it falls under enforcement coverage. This coverage can also be applied to third-party non-payment, breach of contracts, and investigation costs.
IP representation in warranties are legal provisions that are commonly included in agreements related to the transfer or licensing of intellectual property rights. These provisions serve to protect the parties involved by making certain statements and assurance regarding the intellectual property being transferred or licensed. Here are some key points to understand about IP representation and warranties. Number 1. Ownership. The party making the representation and warranties asserts that they are the rightful owner of the intellectual property rights being transferred or licensed. This includes patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, or any other form of intellectual property. Number 2 is validity. The representation and warranty state that the intellectual property rights being transferred or licensed are valid and legally enforceable. This means that the rights have been obtained through proper channels and are not subjected to any legal challenges or disputes. Number 3. Non-infringement. The party making the representation and warranty assures that the intellectual property being transferred or licensed does not infringe upon the rights of any third party. This means that the intellectual property does not violate any existing patents, trademarks, copyrights, or other proprietary rights held by others. Number 4. Limitations. The representation and warranty may include certain limitations or exclusions to protect the party making the representation. For example, they may specify that they are not responsible for any infringement claims arising from modifications made to the intellectual property by the receiving party. So, by including this representation and warranty, provisions in agreements, the parties involved can establish a level of confidence and assurance regarding the intellectual property being transferred or licensed. If any of the representations and warranties are breached, the party that made the assurances may be held liable and may be required to provide remedies or compensation.
Next is IP value insurance. It is a specialized insurance product designed to protect the financial value of intellectual property assets against risks such as infringement, theft, litigation, or other events that could result in financial losses. This type of insurance typically covers the costs associated with defending IP rights, enforcing IP claims, and compensating from damages in case of IP infringement. So, IP value insurance can help companies mitigate the financial risk associated with their IP assets and provide a safety net in the event of unexpected challenges to their intellectual property right. Next is IP risk management. Identifying potential risks related to IP infringement, trade secrets, leaks, or conflict with third parties is critical to IP management. Mitigation strategies are put in place to minimize these risks.